Greetings, family. How y'all doing? This is Cassandra-Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of of Evolutionary Emergence. I'm multitasking right now. My I don't know what is going on. I have to call the my internet company today because it literally took almost 5 minutes, like old school. You remember how it would take you would see the little shit. You would see the little spiraling thing, right? As it was like, what do you call it? Like whatever. It took literally about 5 minutes. I got on here at 11:59, and I have been trying to get the damn live stream to start since then. So I don't know what's going on with my connection. Um, the bill is paid, so that ain't the problem. You feel me? So I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I'm here. All right. So let me just, I told you I'm multitasking. I have 10,000 things to try to accomplish today. But I hope you all are well and thriving and prosperous and such. I thought a lot last night about the live we did and some of the things that came through. And while I'm finishing writing y'all names down on here to do this poll, I'm not going to prolong it. It's not going to be a whole live. This live is literally just about doing the poll for the raffle. Oh, I got a great idea. Yeah. But in the meantime, while I was taking a shower this morning, I was just like letting my For You kind of play because it'll just go from one video to another on YouTube. It hadn't been on my radar because I'm uninterested, but apparently there's this whole thing happening. So this is what I'm going this is what I'm going to use to do the drawing today, right? But anyway, I wanted to share this with y'all before I forgot about it because, like I said, it ain't on my radar. It was playing while I was in the shower. I was like, "Oh, that's interesting, right?" So, apparently, there's some controversy about what's her name, Blake Lively, and Ryan Reynolds, her husband, right? But it started with her because there's this movie she just did. It Ends With Us. I haven't seen it. I've seen the previews for it, but I haven't seen it. I mean, I've only seen a couple of movies with her in it. I've liked her as an actress. The couple of movies that I saw, I thought were cool. But like to just be seeking her out as an actress of something that's like a priority for me to watch, that hasn't been the case, right? So again, that's why this controversy that's currently unfolding about her or with her has been off my radar, right? Long story short, apparently she just started going to court about like charges, like accusations that she has made about the guy who directed the film and was the co-star or the star. She was the star, he was the star of this movie called It Ends With Us or something like that, right? And so her accusation was that, he was sexually harassing her. He was sexually inappropriate on the set or whatever. All of these revelations have been coming out in court about how she basically lied. She set the dude up, you feel me? Like at one juncture, she told the dude to come to her dressing room and greetings, Bay Humble. So anyway, she told him to come to her dressing room, and she was in her dressing room because she is postpartum. And so at least when she made the movie, she was postpartum. She had just given birth to a baby. So she was pumping, she was expressing milk in her room, in her, her dressing room, and was like, look, I need you to come to my room. And she was still expressing milk while he came to the room. And it was no issue. Like they were bantering about what it is they need to do for the day, whatever. Well, when she filed the lawsuit, she said that he barged into her dressing room while she was nursing and made her feel extremely uncomfortable, whatever. But she didn't know that he had saved the texts with her saying, please come to my room. Don't worry about it. I'm just expressing milk right now. but you can come in so we can talk about what we got to talk about. So just all this little shady shit. The reason I'm mentioning her, you guys, is because you remember, I think it was 3 days ago. It was the temple service, as a matter of fact, on Saturday. And somehow we got off. One of y'all mentioned it, and that's how I got off on it. We got off on this long diatribe about the Game of Thrones. Remember? We got off on this long diatribe about the Game of Thrones. Long. I didn't realize until I went and re-listened to it how long I went off on the Game of Thrones, and how what's the name? Khaleesi. How they created her character to set us up. They created her character, and you manipulated us through the use of her abuse to get us to empathize with her. And that's why we felt so betrayed when she did what she was bound to do. I've never read the books, but I didn't have to read the books for her character and the end of her character to be predictable. Do you understand? I study history. I study politics. You understand? And so what happened with Khaleesi, though I fell for the okie doke in the beginning too. I liked her too. I was like, okay, she the one. That's the girl, right? But her trajectory became evident, and her trajectory became quickly predictable to me. And so I talked a long time about how we all fell for the okie doke in our allegiance to Khaleesi Targaryen, right? Baby. And what did I tell y'all? That she was the prototypical, they didn't even hide it. She was the prototypical patriarchal image of femininity, of patriarchal femininity, right? Literally, she was white as snow. Her hair was white as snow. Her eyes were light. You feel me? She was the damsel in distress, as the strategic pawn between two opposing personifications of patriarchy. Her brother, the white male, white-haired, perfect Aryan, right? He is the insidious face of patriarchy. He's well educated, he's articulate, he is wealthy, he lives in a castle, he is civilized, yet he is ruthless, right? This personification. Then she is bartered off in a strategic alliance with the quote brutish negroid others, the wild, uncouth, uncivilized, but brutish opposing extreme opposite still of patriarchal power, right? And how she becomes the damsel in distress in both scenarios, right? Until she acquires power. And then she does what always is done when one who is the prototypical image of patriarchal femininity, she betrays those who allow her to acquire power in the first place. Who is that? Negroid-esque, other-esque, right? The Unsullied, which were predominantly Negroid-esque, the Dothraki, who were predominantly Negroid-esque. Elevate her through force, through power, through her proximity to them. Elevate her to a position of power. Deify her, in the deification of her, because of their belief of her right, her rightful claim to the throne, that she would break the curse of her line, right? The descent into madness, drunk off unchallenged power. She would break the chain, right? That's what they called her, the breaker of chains, the freer of slaves, la, 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 la. And so everybody colored, everybody othered, right? Because her council was diverse. She had a little person on her council. You understand? She had a trans person, a eunuch on her council. She had the Unsullied, who had been what? He had been castrated. He had been forced to eunuch, right? She had the black woman on her council. Child. And at the end of it all, she betrayed them all, drunk off power, right? So I never forgot that conversation because that's the first time I did a deep think, and that was off the dome, right? This was past Saturday. Baby, let me tell you what I heard while I was in the shower today, getting ready for this. That girl, that white girl, Blake Lively, that everybody has daunted over and just, oh my God, she's so reminiscent of classical Hollywood glamour and all of this shit. This white girl with blue eyes who is the prototypical face of that image of femininity that patriarchy most upholds, holds up against the rest of us as the standard of what true and divine femininity is. Blake Lively. In this thing that I'm listening to in the shower, I don't know nothing about the girl until I listen to this shit on YouTube. That her two biggest allies, the two forces that stand beside her, quote, behind her, right, is Taylor Swift, who I talked about the other day when I talked about all of these satanic images, all these satanic symbols in Hollywood, and it's always black people. It's always black people. I said, why don't they get Taylor Swift to do that? Because they need her to remain a blemishless image of patriarchal, pristine femininity. That's why you'll never see, even as she bite every now and again black stuff, she'll never go too far because she needs to maintain this perfect, blemishless image of patriarchy's idea of femininity. Just said that last week. How about listening to this shit in the shower, child? I had a whole moment right there in the shower that her best friend is Taylor Swift. Blake Lively's best friend is Taylor Swift. Her husband is Ryan Reynolds, right? And that in this smear campaign that they were waging in preparation for this lawsuit against this guy who directed the film, they had a quote from Blake Lively, y'all. In the quote, she says, I am Khaleesi. I am Khaleesi. I have the power. I am Khaleesi. And Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds at my rear are my dragons. Y'all, that happened. I just did these 2 lives within the last 5 days. That happened today in the shower, getting ready to do this draw for y'all. This girl is quoted as saying, I am Khaleesi. I am Khaleesi in the Game of Thrones. And Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds are my dragons. And the reason she said that is because she was using the star power of these two, her husband and Taylor Swift, to try to force this dude to relinquish control of the movie. She was trying to she actually did rewrite a lot of the script. She was just hired as an actress, but she wanted full control and he wouldn't relinquish. And child, I'm telling you, Tajali, that just happened this motherfucking morning, girl. After 2 days, one spending almost an hour talking about the Game of Thrones and how we got hoodwinked, and then the day before that, talking about how these people in positions of power are literally priming the evangelical right to see as the primary target or cause of everything wrong in this country is this evil, devilish, Black population, primarily female, and that's what they've been prepping people for all these years since they started putting these overt, quote, satanic evil images in all of these videos. That shit was a primer that was going to target a growing radical evangelical. Remember me talking about that? And I said there's a reason that there are all these other singers, there are all these other stars, there's all these other white rappers, there's all these other female white rappers. How come none of their videos got them writhing on the ground like a snake or dancing on the devil's lap or any of that shit? It is because this was a very long and methodical, strategic imprinting in the consciousness of a population of people driven by fear and uncertainty. Because I told you, white people who represent the evangelical right, even as rabid as they are driven by fear, child. They are driven by what did the young one, I watched this video of these recovering Christians, and they call it rapture anxiety. White evangelical rightists, especially extreme rightists, are driven by freaking rapture anxiety. Everything is a sign of the imminent end of the world and has been for 100 years. Why? Because that rapture doctrine has been imprinted in their consciousness since they were infants. They were in this horror story about the horrible way that the Lord's return will come to pass. And even as they say they believe that they're going to go up with the Lord in the sky, they still have nightmares and anxiety about the things that must come to pass before Jesus can return. You feel me? I know, because I was a victim of that shit. I told y'all when I did that damn live, that live that I did called Jesus, Hurry Up and Come and Get Your People, right? And that was some months ago, 6 months ago or so. I said, sitting here doing the research for this live, this temple service that I did called Jesus, Hurry Up and Come and Get Your People, right? Sitting there just watching Christian sermons. That's what I did to prepare you guys, was sat there and watch Christian sermons about the rapture, about the signs of things to come, and how to recognize that we in the time of the Lord's return and all of that bullshit. Imminent signs of the rise of the Antichrist and all this shit, right? How I watched 2 hours back to back of just short clips of sermons from famous preachers like I grew up knowing about, like Minister Hagee and and all of them dudes, right? Sitting here for 2 hours. I haven't been in a church deliberately, you know what I'm saying, like as a Christian believing in Christianity. I haven't been in a church since I was 24 years old. I'm 50. I haven't been in a church since I was 24 years old. And I sat right in this chair. My heart was racing. My breath was shallow. I haven't believed this bullshit since I was a kid. And in my flesh, because my flesh remembered that shit. My ears remembered that shit. My eyes remembered that shit. My flesh remembered my foundational years from 0 to 18, believing that any day now, terrified of dying, because I was not sure that even though I was going to church every Sunday morning, every Sunday night, every Wednesday night, every Thursday night, that I was knocking on doors, asking people if they were sure that if they died right now, would they go to heaven? And if not, let me show you at 13 years old. Let me show you at 15 years old how you can make sure that you go to heaven. I did all of that shit. And I sat here, not having been in a church in 25 years voluntarily as a Christian, because I've been to church, but with this brain, you feel me? And baby, I sat there with the same familiar anxiety that I sat in church when I was a kid. That shit is real. So while I don't make excuses for people's behavior, I understand the origin and the essence of the violence as perpetrated by Christians, as perpetrated by Christian right, as perpetrated by evangelical devout Christians and Catholics and so on. That shit is imprinted in their deep in their consciousness. And what did I tell y'all? Once something becomes a part of your consciousness, it becomes a part of your flesh. You understand? And so I'm sitting here watching all these years. I'm like, why are all these Black people doing these videos? And so for me, I was like, oh, they just want to be rebels. Something in them wants to rebel against the norm. I fuck with that. But why is it this particular presentation of rebellion? Why like the dude, Lil Nas X? Why is he, pictured as a serpent writhing on the ground, snake eyes and tongue sticking out? And then the next thing you know, he's a stripper with some braids braided down his hair, and he is doing a pole dance on a pole that goes all the way to hell, you feel me? Where he then sees the devil in a big old golden chair, and he proceeds to do a lap dance on Satan. I'm like, okay, you want to be a rebel? It didn't offend me none. I was like, this is silly as hell. And to me, it was obvious. You understand? Him doing the tennis shoe that is the colors of a leg bar, red and black, with 666 on the bottom of the shoe. And supposedly each shoe was made with a drop of his own blood. Okay, you gotta make a name for yourself, whatever. But I know who produces these music videos. I know the strategic reason that these videos, Meg the Stallion in her video where she is a snake, right, shedding her skin. I ain't got no problem with it because I know what the serpent means. But for the scores of millions of people in this country who all they see is black, primarily, predominantly female faces, and put in their ignorance, because most of these young women are young. Meg the Stallion is what, 28, 29? They young, they don't know, they aren't studying the way that we are. So they're like, okay, cool, I just want to be a rebel. People mad at me anyway, I might as well make them mad. What's the girl named Doja Cat? And the video Paint the Town Red, where she's arm in arm with the Grim Reaper, and she is a demon with red eyes or whatever. I just want to be a rebel. People mad at me anyway, I might as well show them crazy, whatever. They do not know that they are being played as pawns strategically by this institution called Hollywood that is putting perpetually images. There's another image of this young black woman at the what is it called? Forget the awards that it's like the Olympics, but it's in England every year. It's like their version of the Olympics. I forget what it's called right off the top of my head. But in this last event that they did, they had this whole opening ceremony, and they placed as the emerging Antichrist all these people. They had like 200 dancers in the opening ceremony. These 200 dancers are dancing around a golden bull calf. Okay? A golden bull calf, and sitting on top of the gold, and all the dancers are dressed in white. All the dancers are on the ground dressed in white, dancing around this golden bull calf, and sitting on top, like riding the bull calf, is a black ass woman with hair like mine, braided all the way down and corn, like as black can be. You feel me? Like she got cornrows. She's got on a purple outfit, but the purple outfit is like a purple hoodie. So she hood, right? Sitting on top of this golden bull calf. She as the coming Antichrist in this ceremony for an athletic competition like the Olympics. That was the opening ceremony. And so all of these Christian radicals, these far right Christian nationalists, Catholic nationalists and shit like that. Because what's happening in the United States with Trump is not just happening in the United States. All of these previously progressive countries in Europe are becoming quickly, radically far right at the same time, right? Like the woman that they just elected as, I think, the prime minister or whatever of Italy, the president, prime minister, whatever they have, saying that she has been the most right leader in Italy since Mussolini. You feel me? This shit is unfolding all over the world because they're losing their grip on power. So now they have to buckle down. They have to, like, we can't even play nice no more, right? But it just struck me because all of these black-skinned faces become the poster child for the evidence of inherent weakness. I mean, inherent wickedness, inherent evil. And I told y'all 3-4 years ago, and several people left my channel because of it. They said I was fear-mongering. I said, and this happened when they overturned Roe versus Wade. I said, they are preparing us to accept the intensification of violence against women in this country. Get ready. And I'll be goddamn, right? I don't know how I got off on that, but I'm telling y'all today, when that girl, and I just said that shit on Saturday, 3 days ago, I said, Khaleesi was a setup. All you black, brown, red, and yellow people, all you marginalized people was like, yes, she the one. She represents like the struggle to fight the system, to beat the system, this and that, and this and that. And then you feel completely and utterly betrayed as you done invested all these hours and all these seasons of your life following the Game of Thrones for at the end, this woman to become the real life personification of her daddy's old ass ambitions. Her quote, her descent into madness as guaranteed by unchallenged power. That's what happened. And this white girl, I am in the shower today. 3 days after doing that live, 3 days after having that goddamn intervention in real time, that wasn't even no shit I prepared for. In real time, having this breakthrough and this intervention about the Game of Thrones being a setup, it being a telltale story of white power, the actual personification of Aryan nation white power in the age of iron as represented by the Iron Throne. The age of iron as represented by the Iron Throne. And this girl gonna say today, be quoted today in this lawsuit she's trying to wage against this man that for all intents and purposes has done everything right. They're playing like audio recordings of their voicemails and everything. And he's like, look, I just want to do the right thing, whatever, whatever. And this girl said, unhand the movie, even though you wrote the script. Yes, he did. Even though you were given the book, you were given the okay to write a script about this book, but I like it, and what I see and what I want, I am entitled to. And he, even though he's Italian, he's just dark enough, he's just colored enough. Would she have tried that with a actually obviously white director? She ain't been on a lot of movies. Why she ain't never tried that with any of them? These white male, obviously white male, because this dude, I forget his name, but this dude is just colored enough, even though he European, even though he Italian, he is just colored enough for her to try him. For her to say, I know this your shit. I know you were given the approval. I know your script is the one that was written for the book. And the author was like, yes, I want you to write the script and direct the movie. And I know I was just hired as an actress to play the lead character, but I like it. And since I like it, I want it. And since I want it, I'm white. And since I'm white, I am entitled to everything I set my eyes on. And I will do whatever is necessary. I will destroy your career. I will railroad the hell out of you. I will cry tears, because that's what she's been doing for months in preparation for this coup d'etat she was trying to unfold, to let loose on this dude. Crying in interviews, making herself seem like the damsel in distress who was just so taken advantage of. And he tried to fat shame me right after I had a baby. Baby. And then she said the quiet part out loud. She said it. She said, I am Khaleesi. I am Khaleesi of the Game of Thrones. And the reason, I will add this, the reason that Khaleesi represented a problem in the contest for the Game of Thrones, Blake Lively, yeah. The reason that Khaleesi represented a problem in the Game of Thrones more than anybody else, who did Cersei see as her primary competition? She saw Khaleesi as her primary competition. Because unlike Cersei, who was, even though she was, quote, white, Cersei was always Cersei. She was always malignant and diabolical. And like, I live in a man's world. I got to do what men do to maintain a stranglehold on power. And I'm going to be just as ruthless and just as, she was outright with her shit. She was like what Malcolm X called. Remember when Malcolm X talked about the difference between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party? He said the Republican Party is the wolf. You know exactly what they after. You know exactly what it is. It's butt naked. It's, I'm trying to devour you, right? And he said the Democratic Party is more dangerous. Why? He said because the Democratic Party appears like a fox. You know, the fox always looks like it's smiling. So it looks like a friend. It looks benign, though it is still a canine, still a canine seeking to devour. And in the 1960s, Malcolm X said, "Give me a Dixiecrat or a Republican over a Democrat any day, over a progressive any day." That's what he said. Their ambitions are the same. Their tactics and their strategies are different, right? And so Cersei is the wolf. Khaleesi was the fox, baby. And after she galvanized literally the support of every poor person, of every oppressed person, of every othered by society, right? after she galvanized the power and the straight up brute force of these melanated armies of hers, after she won even the white people in the North, right? King of the North and all these little people that John was able to win, to stand behind Khaleesi, baby, at the end of it all, she betrayed them all and sided with her daddy's Aryan ambitions. Yes, she did. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I had to get it off my chest because I literally just got out the shower right before I got up on here. And that's what I heard when I was in the shower is this girl call herself. I'm telling you, what's clear to them is not clear to us unless we watch between the lines, unless we study, unless we understand history and how it is always being put forward in our, I tell y'all all the time, they play in our face and they don't even have to hide shit no more. They play in our face because of what they know we do not know. You feel me? That girl understood exactly what it meant when she called herself Khaleesi of the Game of Thrones, and her white, so innocent, so soft, such the beautiful personification of pristine patriarchal femininity, Taylor Swift, who can do no wrong, even though historically in her career, she has committed violation after violation after violation after violation. She can do no wrong because of her pristine femininity. So she can steal, she can jack, and she has done it. She can appropriate, and she has done it. And there is no crime that this girl can commit because of her pristine femininity, which is what patriarchy wants her to be. You understand what I'm saying? So my IG be tripping. You feel me? Hold on. Ain't that about a bitch? Yeah, they just completely took that off. My IG has been really, really tripping lately. Sure has. She talking too much. I got to pull it back up though because I am about to do the pull. But that's how it works, baby. When I tell you that these breakthroughs that we have, these quote synchronicities that we're experiencing, all of like quote, and I don't want to sound too quote woo woo, but all of the like psychic breakthroughs, I'm telling y'all, I'm constantly beating it in your head. Pay attention more now than ever to your dreams, right? Is because we are radically shifting. Every outer planet is shifting over the next several months. That's why this year is so big. All of the outer planets are shifting over the next few months, all the way through July, from water and earth signs for the first time in hundreds of years into air and fire signs. The rapidness, the intensity of these breakthroughs, of these downloads, of these synchronicities, of insight coming through dreams, of connections, of familiarity to people that you've never met, of the vastness, the vast outreach of our ability to communicate and relate to each other, even if we've never seen each other face to face. That shit is about to intensify times 1,000. Times 1,000. Air and fire is what all these planets are in the process of shifting into. Here we done had 2 helicopter crashes in midair. If that is not the absolute personification of this period in air and fire, I don't know what is. Me sending y'all videos of fire tornadoes during this fire in LA. If that is not the combination, the real time personification of our shift of all these major outer planets from Saturn on, this shift into of all these planets from Earth and water, which are slow moving, methodical, slow moving planets, slow moving signs, to air and fire, all of them. This shit is about to pop. It's volatile because air and fire combined is volatile, right? But it can be volatile to either extreme. It can work in our favor or it can work in our opposition's favor, and the choice is ours. But baby, we have to be able to hear We have to be able to see, just like I told y'all last night, we have to be the center of the eye of the storm that is generated by this period. All these winds of chaos being generated by these people in power, these people who seize power, that's the chaos. We have to sit in the eye of the storm, and this is where we will be able to see. This is where we will be able to hear. This is where we will be able to feel and trust our flesh. Because I'm telling you, that shit just happened today. 2 days after I did this live that had nothing to do with the Game of Thrones. One of y'all mentioned it in reference to what I was talking about, because I was talking about the year of the serpent or something, right? And one of y'all mentioned it just in passing about Khaleesi in the Game of Thrones. And somebody was like, yeah, I really hate how they did our girl in the end. I was like, hold up. You have to see with fresh eyes. Hold up. I had to derail my conversation because Khaleesi was insidious, and that's how we have been perpetually played, baby. That's how we've been perpetually played, is the innocence, the damselness, right? And even the way they talked about this girl, Blake Lively, even as they talked about her, they were like, well, damn, it's messed up that she's been doing this, but like, is this just a character flaw? Like, is there something, quote, mentally wrong with her? Like, that's the default. That's the default because they feel betrayed by this pristine personification of patriarchal femininity to do something so seemingly diabolical and wicked that it had to be some kind of just flaw in her thinking, some weakness in her thinking. This couldn't have been calculated. This couldn't have been planned because femininity doesn't allow you to be calculating like men. This is the thinking of us all. This is why we automatically reduce white women to harmless damsels in distress that are always absolved from responsibility for their behavior, especially if their behavior is indicative of something other than what patriarchy has said femininity must be. You can't be calculating. You can't be shrewd. You can't be strategic. You can't plot, plan, and strategize. So everything evil that white women have done historically is automatically reduced to a lapse in judgment, a flaw in their thinking, an inherent weakness of their reasoning skills. Everything becomes an excuse to preserve this very necessary, pristine femininity that is bestowed only to white women. They are perpetually in need of help. They are perpetually in need of defense. They are perpetually in need of protection. And so if they end up doing something terrible, it's just she wasn't herself today. She wasn't thinking right today. Well, and then it becomes a weapon. The other aspect becomes a weapon bestowed on all women. Well, she is just a female. They are inherently flawed, hence 100 years of frontal lobotomies. You understand? Child, that girl said that today. I am Khaleesi of the Game of Thrones, and my husband and my best friend, who is also the personification of pristine femininity, of patriarchal pristine femininity. Taylor Swift, my homegirl, my bestie, you feel me, who looks just like me, you feel me, and my debonair, stereotypical, charming white guy, Ryan Reynolds. She said, they my dragons. That's a quote from her. I am Khaleesi of the Game of Thrones. The power is mine. And these two are my backup. Their star power is what's going to help me force this dude to unhand his creation. And when I tell you I haven't seen a single news, haven't read a single article because it wasn't on my radar, completely disinterested. That shit came through my For You today while I was in the shower. Is that a coincidence? That I would hear one video about this little this little lawsuit, and I would hear the quote that she makes about herself being Khaleesi of the Game of Thrones, and these two here with their star power are my dragons, and we gonna force this borderline colored man. He was white, he's Italian, but he was just dark enough. His nose was just big enough His hair was just kinky enough. His skin was just olive enough for her to say, whatever you create, if I like it and I say I want it, I am entitled to it. And if you don't give it to me, my white, teary-eyed damsel in distress motif is going to afford me the ability to steal it from you, and everybody will still defend me. Everybody will see my tears and say that there was something inherently wrong with you, because she didn't try this when that'll be the defense. She didn't try this with any other director. You feel me? She didn't have these conflicts with any other directors. Child, that happened today. So when I tell you, you better open your eyes, you better open your ears, you better be still in the eye of the storm so that you can have a clear analysis through the chaos that's been created, through the storm, through the winds of change that are being generated in real time. This is what the year means. This is what the period means. I did not intend to do a low-key astrological, political, historical analysis about the Game of Thrones and Blake Lively, but that happened today, and I had to recognize the moment before I got too busy today and forgot to talk to y'all about it. Now that I'm done, the reason that we are all here is because right now, which is 12:45, at 5 o'clock p.m. and at 9 o'clock p.m., I am going to be doing drawings. So for those of you who don't know, I did the live very late last night, so many of you may not know. I am actively doing a fundraising raffle. And for those of you who don't know, I'll tell you why. Is that I am under the threat of losing my place to live. The short version is this city does not have rent moratoriums who were only economically impacted by the fires. So I had minimal damage, like extremely minimal damage to my property. But my job, the people who were directly impacted by the fire, the majority of my clients have been in those areas that have been impacted by the fires. So to give you a short version, since the fire started on January 7th to today, which is the 4th, I have had 5 clients in a month. 5 clients in a month. And unfortunately, the city council just shot down the proposal to expand the rent moratorium to workers, to gig workers and other people that rely directly on the majority of the people who were impacted by the fires for their living. That's like people who take care of lawns, lawn services, nannies, housekeepers and maids, like Uber drivers, Uber Eats and Uber drivers and Lyft and all of that stuff. Nobody is working. If that was the work that they were doing, their work has been greatly impacted. And a week after the fire, so about a week and a half ago, I got a notice to vacate my property or to pay this rent that I am now officially behind 2 months because I didn't pay January rent because I didn't work. And now it's February 4th. And so now officially my February rent is due. And then I used my savings to pay all my other bills. So at least I wouldn't up in here without lights and gas and all of that shit. And that I'm still able to do this because this is the only thing that has been bringing in income. And I make about $65 and on a good week, $85 a week through my YouTube channel. You feel me? So anyway, this is what the fundraiser is for. I have plotted and schemed. I have signed up for everything that is available. And because I was not directly impacted, and that's the thing, it's going to take 18 months approximately for the city to recover. And all of these gig workers, they're estimating 175,000 people have been indirectly but extremely impacted by the fires because of the kind of work that they were doing. I am one of those people, and I am not one to put my business out like that. But now it's crunch time. This week, I have to raise this money. And so I want to thank everybody who has been donating. I want to thank people who participated in the raffle. I launched it last night. So I will be pulling raffle tickets. I'll be doing live raffle pulls right now, and then 5 o'clock and then 9 o'clock tonight. And tonight I will be doing an actual full length live, but at the beginning of that live. So you have until 9 o'clock tonight to buy your raffle tickets for this round of the raffle, because today is very important in terms of my ability to give these people at least some money to like afford myself some wiggle room. So you have until 9 o'clock tonight to buy your raffle tickets. What I am raffling is the services that I offer. Several of you already know what those services are because you've reached out to me. So I'm offering a 60-minute divination, which regularly is $153 for a $20 raffle ticket. I am doing a 30-minute divination, which is typically $90, valued at $90. I'm doing that for a $10 raffle ticket. I also do virtual. All of this is virtual, by the way. I also do 5 elements, which is what my background is. My medical background is traditional Chinese medicine, but I specify in 5 elements theory. So I do a 1-hour 5 elements theory wellness consultation that you also receive a type up within 7 days of your consult. You will receive a type up of your diagnosis, what that looks like in your body so you understand it, your dietary recommendations, if any, your nutritional supplementation, which will typically be nutraceuticals and Chinese herb formulas, and also any other kind of lifestyle changes that you may need to make temporarily or long-term to address your particular presentation. I don't say disease or disorder, whatever your particular presentation is at the time that I do your reading, that I do your wellness consultation, that is how I will, that's how I will develop your program, right? The reason that this is important is because they hear wellness consultation and they automatically think like sickness, like physical presentation of some discomfort. But the thing about Chinese medicine in general, and in particular 5 elements theory, is that it can address any type of disharmony, whether that is a spiritual disharmony, an emotional, psycho-emotional disharmony, or whether it is a physical disharmony, or all 3. Because the position of Chinese medicine in general and the position of 5 elements theory in particular is at the juncture that you are experiencing a physical manifestation, right? A physical outward quote disease. That disease, that thing that you're calling disease, has been happening for a long time, and all physical manifestations of quote disharmony, disorder, disease begin with a spiritual disharmony. This is how I treat in my practice when it's functional, and this is how I also do these wellness consultations. I would really love at some juncture for people who have, because they give me personal feedback, I would really love at some juncture to maybe have like an open discussion of people that I've either done divination for or wellness consultations for. I had one woman that I consulted with, and she told me that 3 months after following her, and I do not claim to cure disease, so don't tell nobody I have claimed to cure disease, but this is what she told me. 3 months after I did the wellness consultation for her and she followed it to the letter, she would email me if she had questions, if she was unclear, but I spell it out very clear and uncomplicated. 3 months after she started following the regimen I gave her to the letter, she was able to come off of her insulin. She had been an insulin dependent diabetic, type 2 diabetes. And 3 months later, she was able to come off her insulin. So these are the stories. People who get readings from me, I would really love for people to like, I saw this guy who has his own channel, like an astrologer, and he actually has people send him like 30-second to 1-minute video testimonies of their interaction with him through his services. I would love for that to happen. Anybody that has had me read them and you're willing to do that, or anybody that's had me treat them or consult with them and you're willing to do that, I would love that. Because so this thing and the way that it's impacted my work, I've been stressing. I'm like, do I need to like develop a new career? Like, am I going to have to get another job at 50 fucking years old? Like, do I need to be shifting gears? But I'd been saying I wanted to shift gears anyway. I want to teach more and I want to do hands-on less. I want to transfer everything, every skill that I have, I want to transfer in the form of like apprenticeships and mentorship programs. I want to teach. I don't want to be at 50 years old hauling my kit around, hauling my table around, going into people's houses and putting my hands on them. I can feel in my body, especially after 20 years of doing this, that what I have here should afford me the ability to not have to be in a situation where I have to ask people who support me, but are strangers to me, to help me secure my housing. So I'm not one of the many people who are now, many of the thousands of people who are newly homeless in the city. That shit is real. And just because y'all aren't seeing it on the news anymore where you are, the devastation is ever present and palpable in this goddamn city. I cannot say it any clearer than that. It is deep. And people's emotional, the shock is real, y'all. This shit is deafening. It's deafening, especially for someone who knows what they are experiencing when they're in space with others. That I am experiencing, not only myself, everybody's real-time, unabated shock from what the hell has just happened in this city. So that being my diatribe, again, if you are interested in the 1-hour divination with me, that is valued at $153, buy a $20 raffle ticket. If you are interested in the 30-minute divination, which is valued at $90, a $10 raffle ticket. If you are interested in the 60-minute, which is the best value, obviously, the 60-minute 5 elements wellness consultation with write-up, that is typically valued at $180. Buy a $20 raffle ticket. Okay. Or you can donate $50 and put your name in the hat for all three, which people have done. But this is a fundraiser. And I also want to say that if you make any donation, which several people have, and so I've, even though they haven't put their name down as quote a reading or whatever, I've still put their name in the pot because people have been really generous. And when I come back at 5, because I was rushing this morning, when I come back at 5, I'm going to call the names of people who have just made donations and have clarified this is just a donation so I can shout them out. Okay. So with that being said, those of you who have, and you don't have to be on the live, you don't have to be present to win the reading. Whatever name I call is the winner for that draw. And so what I am calling on everybody to do is, let me tell you how to buy tickets for those of you who don't know. But what I'm calling on people to do is whatever method you use to pay for your raffle ticket, just place a note inside, because there's usually a place that you can make notes or write a message. Just put either tarot in the note so I can know what it's for, or consult if you're going to do the consultation, consult or 5E, either way, in the note so I can know exactly what it is. If there's no note, I am going to assume it's a donation, okay? Which I am open to. I am really, really grateful for, and honestly in desperate need of. So if you are feeling generous, you feel me, I'm going to be doing this raffle every day until my goal is met. I'm going to be doing this raffle. The other thing, the reason I went off on that diatribe, let me go back, is how I want to be teaching, how I want to be spending more time teaching. And as soon as this fire started, I'll be honest, I was like, okay, is this my, because we get comfortable in our security, obviously. And so even though I had been saying for over a year, I really wanted to transition out of doing hands-on therapy and really wanted to be doing apprenticeships, like deep, thorough apprenticeships. There is a lot that you can do as a quote layperson legally without going to medical school. There is a lot that you can do. One of my mentors, who is a doctor of Oriental medicine in Florida, has a whole school teaching Chinese herbal formulas and Chinese diagnostics. And that is, you can get certified to intervene in people's lives using Chinese diagnostics and Chinese herbal formulas. It is the most empowering shit you have ever experienced, I promise you. And so that's what I would really like to do, is to transition. But because I have to secure my life in the city of Los Angeles, it was always the grind. I was like, damn, I'm never going to have enough time to like develop the apprenticeship and get it popping so I can transition out of doing this hands-on and spinning my wheels and my life force, putting my hands on people or whatever, right? And so as soon as these fires happened, I was like, damn, it's like, is this the brutal nudge from the universe that like I needed to go ahead and just do the shit? Like I need to go ahead and make this shit pop. And so I've been doing a lot more readings, which I appreciate, that I can still get things done in my life and still make the money that I need to do. Thank you so much, Dion. Dion, let me write your name down, babe. Will you email me too, sis? Because that I am plotting and scheming as we speak. But anyway, So this is my nudge. This is my nudge from the universe that I have to. It's imminent now because I don't know how long this thing is going to happen in this city where I have been working as an independent contractor through an app to do out calls at people's homes. That's why my work has been directly impacted. And and so the reason I'm saying all of this is I want to encourage you all, one, to book your readings or book your wellness consultation. This is an epic time to get a complete wellness consultation so that it helps set a trajectory, a course for you as we have just recently transitioned into this Chinese New Year of the yin wood snake, which I talked about at length a few days ago. So you can go scroll back through the midst of these crazy ass lives I've been doing over the last week. Right? Help me to be able to do that. Help me to be able to transition into this place where my brain can start making the money that I need to support my life so that I am not having to do this. So I can develop. Several of you have asked me about apprenticeships. Several of you have asked me about apprenticeships, aka mentorships. Several of you have asked me about when I'm starting a school. Can I give you a certification if you go through a process with me? This is all stuff I've always wanted to do. And so that is going to require you not only yourselves getting these services and allowing me a steady income, but also sharing these lives, sharing the services with people that you know can benefit from them. Right. So that's why I got into that. All right. I hear a lot of, which is complicated. I hear a lot of notifications. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. Because anything that comes through right now is going to have to wait until the next drawing at 5:00. So the first drawing, last thing, how you can purchase your raffle ticket for the 60-minute divination, the 30-minute divination, or the 60-minute 5E wellness consultation. I'll have it written out for the next live, but as of right now, I'm just going to tell you. Told you my Wi-Fi is acting crazy today. Can y'all hear me on YouTube? I know I froze for a minute. Okay. All right. So the temple email is EvoEmeTemp because it's the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. So EvoEmeTemp@gmail.com. Okay, that's the email address. So if you buy a ticket, please email me because your YouTube name or your IG name may not match what your Cashapp, PayPal, Venmo name is. So I want to make sure that I know who you are. So if you buy a ticket, make sure to email me and tell me who you are. Okay. Put the note in the payment, tarot or 5E. Okay. So EvoEmeTemp@gmail.com is also the email that you use to pay through Zelle. To pay through Cashapp, the Cashapp is $DaughterOfTheFates. So those of you tuning in from IG, it's the name that you see at the top of the IG. For those of you tuning in from YouTube, it's the name you see at the top of YouTube. DaughterOfTheFates, FATES. Okay, $, Daughter of the Fates. That's Cashapp. Venmo is my name, Cassandra, CASSANDRA-Floyd, FLOYD. And PayPal is at EvoEmTemp, IYAPONGINA. I prefer the first three methods. I put PayPal up because a lot of people who try to send me donations from foreign countries can only use PayPal for some reason. So I will repeat those again. If you want to send a Zelle, a donation, or you want to buy a raffle ticket, it's EvoEmeTemp@gmail.com. Cashapp is $, Daughter of the Fates, FATES. Venmo is my name, Cassandra-Floyd. And the last PayPal is @EvoEmTemp, IYAPONGINA. Okay, so that being said, now you have the information. I'm going to have that written out. I just was on a live with y'all until 4 o'clock in the morning last night. So I slept in. And so I'm rushing this morning. But at 5 o'clock, I will have all of this information written down. And maybe I'll try to figure out how to post it on my YouTube channel, like as a side thing or whatever. But I do know that everything that I just told you is in the description below this video. In every video, you'll have the way that you can book a book appointment or make a donation. So if you forget, just look at the description below this video on YouTube. Okay. All right. So this first drawing is going to be, and I'm going to keep it shorter at 5. My whole intention was to be disciplined, keep it at 15, maybe 20 minutes. Hey, how y'all doing? Let's pull the tickets, tell you how to buy more tickets, whatever. But I'll be more disciplined in the rest of the day. So the rest of the day, I'll be pulling at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then we'll start all over again tomorrow. So those names that I still have that have made donations, I'll probably just go ahead and put those right back in the pot, because there hasn't been a lot of raffle tickets bought because I put it out so late last night. But share this information, please, right? And because if I get a total, and I have to do a count right now, but if I get a total, I worked it out. If I get a total, if I sell a total of 150 raffle tickets, then I can be relatively in the clear. Like I can sigh, I can take a sigh of relief to keep them off of me. Okay. All right. So this is for the 60-minute reading. The winner is Brianna L. Brianna L. Okay. So let me put that down. All right. So that is for the 60-minute reading. Now is the raffle for, so let me take those out. Now is the raffle for the 60-minute wellness consultation. The 60-minute wellness consultation. I need to get some envelopes. I have those somewhere. Okay. And nobody bought tickets for the 30-minute reading. Thank you. I appreciate that. Everybody bought either tickets for the 60-minute reading or the 60-minute wellness consultation. Y'all like my glass skeleton? I love this thing. Let me shake that up again. Vass. So Vass, I don't know if she's on right now, but you have won the consult for this pull. Okay. All right. So yay. That's what's up. So, okay. So that's the pull for now. Okay. So I will do another pull for each of those at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today. That's right. Y'all shout her out. That's what's up. I love that. Right. Okay. And so if you don't win today, I will that's great. I'm glad. I can't wait. So what I am gonna say is if you win either the reading or the 5 elements wellness consultation, let's book over the weekend. That way I can go hard during the week to raise this money, because there's still other running around and stuff that I have to do to try to to make this happen. Okay. It's not just this that I'm relying on. I got tentacles spread everywhere. Okay. So yay, that's awesome. Right. So Vass has one and Brianna L has one. Cool. So at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today, I'm going to do another poll. And then at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today, I will do the final poll for today. So you have until 9 p.m. to purchase your raffle tickets. Okay. If you are interested in getting a glimpse, let's see. Greetings. I was just catching up on a live stream and you shouted out members of the channel. How do I become a member? I don't see the option anywhere. Okay. So for those of you who are tuning in to my YouTube channel, I don't know why they make it so complicated, but I tell you, YouTube got an attitude with me anyway. So it stands to reason that they're going to make everything complicated for me. Oh, I just wanted to remind you guys, my page has been monetized for 2 years. I finally broke 3,000 subscribers last week. And I am putting out, I have a total of over 400 videos on my channel. And I'm just now breaking the 2,000 because I was like, I'm gonna be at 2,000 members for forever. They ain't playing no games with me. Somebody even emailed me and they were like, they're straight up shadow banning you. She said, because I used to get all your notifications, all the stuff all the time. And she is like, now it's even hard to find your channel on the site, like when you go into YouTube. So I want to clarify that. If you're trying to find me on YouTube, I have searched for myself. It is difficult to find my page. The only way you can directly find my page, like easily, is when you go into YouTube and you go into the search engine, put @ then Daughter of the Fates as one word. Daughter of the Fates as one word. Now, at first, trying to give YouTube the benefit of the doubt, I thought it was because the concept of the Fates, which is in the title of my YouTube name, the Fates is widely searched because it's a big part of Greek mythology, right? So I was like, oh, that's what it is. But then some of the stuff that was coming up when I would just put Daughter of the Fates, like single words, no @ in the search engine, was like crazy, was like borderline, like sadistic, and just borderline, like sexually explicit, like just risque enough to like get away with it, but risque enough to be uncomfortable. It was bringing up a lot of crazy, not cool shit. So I have to clarify that if you want to come directly to my page, right? If you want to get directly to my page, @ Daughter of the Fates as one word, and it will come up, and tell that to others too if they're trying to find me. Okay. And so yes, Samla Arana, just go into the description below this live. Below the description, in the description of every live that I've done, it should be the first 2 or 3 lines of my description now, not the older videos. I have to edit all of them, but now I have a link in my description below every video that says join for perks. Join for perks. That is how you become a member. It doesn't say become a member. It says join for perks. That's how you become a member. And I have 3 tiers in my membership: the Yamaya tier, the Oshun tier, and the Oya tier. So just go into the description to become a member. And it's dope because for the first time since I've been up on here, I had 2 people become members last night. That was awesome. So yes, you can do that. And was there anything else I wanted to say? Make sure to buy your raffle tickets. Oh, what I was going to say before I read that is, if you want to get an idea, I may even do a short video, but if you want to get an idea of how my readings go, at least minimally, if you want to get an idea of how my 5 elements consults go, at least minimally, then go back into my videos. And I have videos you can type to search. You can type like 5 elements, because I have actually, like, I spent almost all last year doing 5 elements, doing 5 elements breakdowns as we were transitioning from one season to another, right? So like I did, the first one I did last year was the wood element, the liver gallbladder. And so what I did was talk about the attributes of the wood element, which is liver gallbladder, talked about what are some signs and symptoms that may demonstrate that you have a disharmony in the wood element, right? And foods and activities that you could use in the wood element season, which is the spring, which begins on the spring equinox, is when you transition into the wood element. To the whole purpose of doing that was to try to get you refamiliar with moving and behaving cyclically like we used to. So each season, I was doing a deep analysis on each one of these elements. So you can go back into my videos and see those lectures on how to move optimally in each element. So I did that for the spring equinox. I did that for the summer solstice. I did that for the fall equinox and for the winter solstice. Okay, because this is when we transition into the seasons. So you can go and watch those. There's many videos that I've done over the years on 5 elements and many lectures that I've taught for that matter. As a matter of fact, I know the only one I video. So I have a lecture coming up in 2 weeks at this wellness event that I do every quarter with these people. And the last one that I did was called The Doctrine of the Signatures and Other Ways Plants Talk to Humans. The Doctrine of the Signatures and Other Ways Plants Talk to Humans. That is on this, that's one of the videos on my channel. I also did another live, like on location breakdown of the 5 elements, which I just showed you. And then also all you have to do is like look for temple astrology, or I have a folder, I have a playlist in my playlist called TEE, Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, but it's the acronym TEE, TEE astrology and divination or something like that. And you will see the pulls, the divination that I've done for the whole temple. Okay, this is the temple reading, right? So to get an idea of like the rhythm, the approach that I take to divination, and that's minimal, that's not as deep as it's going to be between us, but you can get a general idea of how I conduct divination and how I conduct the whole wellness consultations, the 5 elements wellness consultations. So that being said, I'm going to close out now because I got to switch gears. I have a reading to do in like 10 minutes that I have to switch brains and get ready for. But yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Those of you on IG. And if you're interested in more information because you're on IG, so you can't see like the other stuff, just send me a message and then I can give you all the information that you need. My YouTube channel, if you want to buy raffle tickets, if you want to just make a donation, if you're local and you want to book a hands-on session, I can still do mobile out calls, right? All right. So that being said, I'm Cassandra-Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates, founder of the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence, and I will see you at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Peace.